Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Restoration Talks. I'm here today with two of my very own people. We have Sister Stephanie with us, and we have Brother APC. Say hello to everyone. Long time.
Yes,
time. Uh,
evening.
yeah, before we start, how have you guys been doing? Are you guys doing
Fine.
well?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You as well?
Yeah, I'm doing fine as well. Very interesting topic for today. So let's just dive into the conversation. Before we really go into the notions and everything, the topic of today, of course, is Powers of the West Part 3, and then we will look at education. A lot has been shared by the ministers so far.
Mm,
But when I speak about education, right? I was really thinking about this myself, but I want to ask this question to you guys as well. So, how has the education that you guys had influenced the way that you, yeah, see the world, the way that you behave, the way that you think? How has that had an influence?
wow.
Mm,
Deep.
yeah,
Very good question.
I think.
And oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Um, it's a very good question, and I also thought about it because I have been in school for so many years, like after one another years in a row like that. And then the last time that I was studying was, I think, a few months ago that I finished 1 year course, and it has for sure an influence on me as a person. And if I have to zoom in on which area, then it will be some of the skills. Um, Studying or to be in school has taught me uh, to be persistent, but also to be determined, especially when things got tough or it went to a different lane all of a sudden that I didn't expect it because one of the courses that I did, I had to finish up in 4 years, and then I had to add 1 year on the
Mm-hmm.
course, and it has taught me patience. But the like what I have to expect from everything and then jump into one of the organizations, it was not in balance at all. And this
Yeah.
is what I hear often. So that's what I can say. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I hear patience. So like
Mhm.
the entire process and everything that happened around it was patience. But you also say that that which you learned or what you thought it would be was not necessarily what you expected. Do we
No,
understand?
no, because the outcome of everything that I learned, I couldn't fully implement everything um,
Mm,
in my profession. And
yeah.
that was quite, yeah, it was shocking also, and it was not fair, if I must
Yeah.
be frank
Uh,
about that. Yeah,
That's something that you hear often. People complain about. They maybe read something online, or this is what they're going to study, and then they eventually really do the study, and then it's not really what they expected, or not really. It didn't teach them the things or the skills that they thought they would
yeah.
learn. And Apoka, how has it been for you?
Do we talk about the education on the school system or from home that you got from your
Um,
parents?
edu- the education system, school,
Oh
school.
yeah, I stand also the same with sister Stephanie. Many things that you have learned when you have to put it in practice is sometimes very hard, especially in the area where we are working. When you have to work with people with mental health, is
Hmm.
sometimes you have to improvise. You have to be creative.
Hmm.
Sometimes to be able to reach your goals, but it teaches you how to do the professional stuff.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So we learn something. I have learned something from the education,
Hmm.
and certain things I didn't understand it until I went to school and I got a better view on it in life. And I've learned something, but not everything you can put it in practice. It's
Yeah,
just hard. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's also a part of improvisation. Like so you have to improvise whatever it is that you have to study. I I do agree with you guys. I think that a lot of times we get into professions
hmm,
um, and you figure out that hey, everything that I've learned so far, it also has to do sometimes with the personality that you have, what are your own strengths and weaknesses, which can make that which you want to do actually a success or not. I wouldn't always um, use or refer school as to whether to become successful or not. But it does bring us to a very, very interesting notion, which is modern education does not teach anything valuable. We asked this also to some of our listeners, and majority disagrees. So they do find that education or the school system does give us something valuable. Do you guys also agree, or you guys disagree?
I agree with it, hon. Yeah. No, wait. I don't agree with it. Sorry. I
Yeah,
don't
no problem.
agree with it.
and why?
Because we learn a lot from the school system and the education systems,
Hmm.
even in how to communicate with people on certain levels.
Hmm.
Uh, and you can also see it for yourself when you hang around people that don't want to go to school. It's sometimes hard to reach them or to talk about certain topics on a certain level. They will have a certain mind. Maybe they have something good to say, but because they didn't took the time to learn how to communicate, you will see that what they want to say, it doesn't reach you. And those are things that you learn in school. And I think it's something that is useful. Of course,
Hmm.
there are certain stuff in it that we don't agree with it, but I think it helps a lot and it
Yeah,
teaches us valuables.
yeah. And
Okay.
Stephanie, do you share the same?
Yeah, same thing. Because the things that they taught us at school, personally, I don't always agree in the way they bring it to us.
Yeah.
Uh, but it has given me an opportunity to also see different perspectives. And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, also, it is an opportunity that I have to go further than my parents. Even as I can see, like how far I came and how far my parents came, there is a
Yeah.
big difference. So um, it taught me, or it, yeah, showed me something that, okay, this is a culture, especially the West, because the West has really like made us known their culture.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I will also be open about that. I really like missed other things, like other angles and perspective, other narratives. So,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it like, yeah, it's lacking. And I
Yeah.
understand why it was not part of the curriculum or the courses that we followed.
Yeah.
It was, for sure, a value. Otherwise, I would not even push so hard to complete my education or to have that degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I don't agree with the notion in itself, because any that it doesn't teach anything valuable. I think it's a very big statement to make. I do believe that some necessary skills, I, for example, financial literacy. I've been speaking about this also at school with some of the colleagues. That is really something that could have been taught in schools. Of course we have economy and such type of courses, but um, even when we get older, we go into the big world, you still find out that people are not really financially literate, don't really know the basic stuff. And I think that that is what has happened with the education system. We are so caught up in the thinking and the researching and being critical, which is a good skill set to have. I'm
Mm,
not against that.
yeah.
That we have forgotten sometimes the basics, and things that you will need to survive in society as well.
But
Um,
what are the basics then? What do you mean
Sorry.
with what do you mean with basics?
So even I think it's in other countries, but it's also something from the past. I don't know what the English term is, but it's about for mij is het huishoudkunde. So things how you take care like of things in the house, like
Oh,
things like
Mm.
cooking, things like sewing, things like it's very basic stuff. That's what people would say now, but I think it's handy because a lot of people just don't know anymore. They're just like, yeah, I'm going to school, and then what do you do when you get home? Yeah, I order stuff, and it's very simple, and that's just the generation that we're in, right? But
mhm.
I think such courses should be given. And what I said about the financial literacy part, how do you read your pay slip? How can you go about with money? These things are handy to have. I also see Sister Daphne says basics like reading and writing, but I do think you do get those things right in the
Yeah. But
education.
the reason why I asked is because I was thinking about other stuff. Basic would mean how to manage finance, because you like slightly touched the same topic as well.
Mhm,
Because that is something that when you are not schooling anymore, you have finished like your degree and everything.
mhm,
Life starts. Not
mhm,
everyone like goes further in aiming higher levels. But
mhm.
life starts. Some people will start, of most people will start working. Um, you will also like build up your life. So the basics, some of these things that you will manage your life well. You know how to like negotiate when you have to go for certain jobs, or um, which other skills. That's what I thought about basics. That
Yeah.
would be helpful if we also get that in school, because at
Mhm.
home people won't have that chance to learn those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But those basics is the same like the education that you get from your home system, or
Mm-hmm.
it's almost the same.
Yeah.
And then I'll be asking myself, what is the difference between the modern education and the older education? Is it like what they used to teach us in the olden days? Yeah, is that more something like a basic education?
That's a very good question. I was also reading about the history of like the education that we have in the West, for example. And what I read about is that predominantly education was given at home, so people were homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, and that would be maybe during the times of like great philosophers according to the West. So let's say Plato, Aristoteles, all these people.
Yeah.
That's when they went towards institutions called schools, and that is where they would teach children to really read, to think, to speak. Um, uh, and that's when it went away from that homeschooling. So I guess that in that shift, probably valuable things have been lost as well, because there's some things, as you said, Apuka, you learn at home and not necessarily in school. So yeah, that's what I would yeah, that's what I would say. Have you guys had any? Do you guys know people that do homeschooling, or have you ever looked into the topic of homeschooling?
No, I don't know anybody, but I
Mhm,
know a few people, like relatives in Ghana, who
mhm,
um, they have hired a teacher who comes home. They don't do it themselves, but
mhm.
somebody who has been qualified to do it well, and they prefer it to do it this way because then they make sure that they know what the children get to learn, and also they can choose the curriculum as well, because otherwise everything is so fixed, and then that same kind of system will be, you know, brought on the child. So I think it's a really really good choice, if that is possible. But not every country has that choice. Like it's
Yeah.
compulsory to go to school. It's like a must. You cannot
Mhm.
leave your child at home.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Mhm. That's a good one. I think for example, I work in education. I've not worked there for very long, but for example, the concept behind my school is also to promote that creativity or have some freedom in what the students can learn. Because I heard that you said fixed, and that's a critique that a lot of people have on Western education system. It produces the same type of people. So
Mm-hmm.
done studying, everyone is doing the same type of job.
Thinking the same way, and not even out of the box anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That it kills.
It's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to have a home education or from homeschooling in Babylon. They
Mm-hmm.
push it to a certain point that you don't even have time for yourself.
Yeah.
So with everything rising, how is it even possible sometimes? Because I have heard many people that want to do it, but I always ask myself, how can you do it with the bills that are rising, the times that you barely have time for yourself, and how will you make room for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes something that I think in the Western is very difficult. And
Mm-hmm.
if you get broke, jeugdzorg, those people, they will come, they will take your child if you don't do it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, how can you do that?
Mm-hmm. They make it impossible for us. Yeah, yeah, they really do. I looked up sometimes. I looked at the criteria for homeschooling, and it's
For the Netherlands.
yeah, it's quite impossible. There's one thing that I saw, and that is if there's no school that aligns with, let's say, the belief system or the way of living of the child, then it is an option, and then even they make it quite difficult for you. So when I read that, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. It sounds like a way out for people who maybe do not want to go into the system of this world, but still it's not that easy. It's really not that easy. You have to have evidence. You have to show and prove that there's no school around that has that same set of beliefs and ideas.
Yeah. I was also thinking about something else, like the way the educational system is set up, and also how religion is
Mm-hmm.
made. I can say made because it is made. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I see like a link, a direct link with the two of them, and I don't know if you also see it or maybe you see it different. But I was wondering, like, what is your thought about that?
Mm. Okay, break it down. Break it down. What the link is between.
Okay. So, how I see it is that, especially when I talk about Christianity, how it grew in the West, um, they have like their way of bringing the, the the culture to the people. They making sure how to making sure that the people believe in what they have set up,
Mm-hmm.
and also they want people to really get into that religion. So what they do first, it start of course in the churches. They will build it up like that, and then they will also fund or no set up schools with the same culture, with the same belief system, and that is how those institutions work hand in hand together. There is, for me, no difference in how everything is organized or how everything is structured.
Mm-hmm.
They really make us slaves. They make us
Yeah.
um, go into that direction so that everything is focused to a certain profession. Everything is like directed or narrowed down so that you don't come out of the box. You're not creative anymore.
Yeah.
So you're literally like being individuals that are made to work, made to follow the crowd and not to be set apart or to be different. So that's why those two, I said, they have like a direct link. It's the same, but I don't know if you also see it the same way. Maybe you have also other thoughts about it.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. It's actually true, really, because that's what they've been doing for a long time. That's how they managed to get us in Africa. Also, they all always put their arrows on the younger generation to start to, yeah, to tackle them since they are young. The way you grew up, the education from your growing up till you get till on a certain age, you have a way of thinking that is exactly and yeah, linked to their propagandas. Because a couple of days ago, I was talking to one of my clients, and we were talking about going to the moon, and he told me something that it's stuck in my mind. He said that why do people believe that someone went to the moon? Is it because we have been seeing it on television
For sure.
and reading about it, and now we grew up with it, and now we came to a point that we actually believe it without even doing a research? Isn't even, yeah, possible for a man to go back then to the moon?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about, it is true, is the way they brainwash, and that's what they did in Africa also, putting these small children to the church and so-called Catholic schools,
Mm-hmm.
so that when they grew up and become the leaders of the country, they will not have the same way of thinking. That you will see that they will have a certain or so-called modern education that is exactly based on their propaganda. But the other education, they will label it as something wrong. But if you look like in their history, they
Mm-hmm.
used to give education at home. But now they build up these church schools that you have to go there, grow up in the same mind. Like we all start to celebrate Christmas in the schools. Group
Yeah.
5 says you was forced to do that, but you
Mm-hmm.
actually didn't even know what the meaning about it. Like we grew up with Zwarte Piet and stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't know, but it's their system, and it's all linked to their religion. And if you try to go outside of it, yeah, they will send jeugdzorg and kinderbescherming and all this stuff to take your child away.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, but yeah,
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah. 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 It's as if you guys already felt it
Oh,
coming. This was, yeah,
my
because we,
bad.
no, it's good because
Okay.
we also wanted to know if those at home, what they thought about this, all the points that you were touching on, and a great majority said yes, they agree. Education
Wow.
is a form of indoctrination. So if you're at home and you voted, I agree, please let us know in the comment section why you agree. But everything you guys have said, I completely agree, 100%. Apoka, you mentioned something, for example, about slavery. I think people also forget that even if they would teach from the scriptures or the so-called scriptures, they would give the scriptures that they know and they could use against these people. And it's something that we took along and we truly believe it to be so. And it's exactly the same with the things that happen in today's society. They say that they want to promote people that think, but they are promoting a way of thinking. It's not neutral. Because if you would ask way too many questions, if you have too much criticism on the system itself, you would see that, for example, jeugdzorg is sent after you. You cannot be different. So that already shows us, right, that there's something that obviously we cannot do. It has to be within their own context, and that's why I find it so dangerous. Education is a very powerful tool. I believe it has its benefits, but it's very dangerous because in the hands of the wrong people,
Mm.
you can literally brainwash people, make them do and behave a certain way for your own benefit. And I don't think that people always realize that when they think about their own time at school, but also maybe when they have children that they will send to school. There's an entire ideology behind that, and I really hope that people will start thinking more and more about this. I'm not saying it's evil. We have all been to school,
Yeah.
but be aware. I guess that is what I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. You
Hmm.
have to be, yeah, you have to do your best because in this time, if you just let your children do what the yeah what the system is telling them to do without you as a parent keeping an eye on them, you will find yourself one day that your child will come and he's a boy, but he's telling you, "I want to be called a she," and yeah, you will have nothing to do. You, that's why now they are young. Do your best because it's kind of funny. Like yesterday, I was reading the news and you saw like the Pope say that, oh, all right, from now on, transgender can be baptized. But the same notion was refused 6 years ago.
Mm.
But if you do not follow what is going on, you
Hmm.
just sit down and think, oh, the Western way is the right way. Eventually, you will find yourself because the way they are doing it, of course, there is a good side, but there is also a propaganda going on. That
Hmm.
yes, sometimes um, I feel sorry for the generation to come, but hey, it's life. We don't know in 10, 20 years what will happen with our children. Is yeah,
Yeah,
let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And also, if you are a parent or you are auntie or an uncle of one of younger kids who are going to school, what
Hmm.
also came in mind is that it is it is like a must. You have to be involved in the things
Yeah.
your child does at school. You have to really like know, communicate with your kids. It's not possible that you can be satisfied with the fact that your child is in school. You would
Mm,
just relax, lay back like that, and allow your child to be shaped in the way they want your child to be. You really
mhm,
have to be involved. That is really what I have noticed very much, and you have to be very aware of. Like Apoka said, you have to
mhm,
know the changes in the educational system, the news as well, because this type of announcement, uh, for somebody who can be against all of these crazy things, before you know, you follow the crowd and you are in the flow.
mhm. Yeah, and they're already starting. They're already starting. It's already part of the curriculum, the things that they have to learn, whether it's put somewhere. Well, Apoke, you mentioned transgenderism. It's already in biology books.
Yeah.
It's they're already teaching that it's okay, it's normal, what that is. Whilst a few years back, that would be, um, by the way, a mental disease. It's like thinking like that. would
Yeah,
be it wasn't normal, and now everything is being normalized. And yeah, your nieces, nephews, everyone around you is part of it. And that is what I personally find difficult is how can we protect each other from this system? Because we cannot say we are not going to bring our children, we're not going to bring our children to school. Unfortunately, we're not stronger than that system. We have to, but what can we do?
pray to Elohim and do your best. Pray to Elohim and keep beating your children, your kids. Don't stop that. That beating is necessary
Okay.
to put them in the right way. If you are soft, like no soft, no, 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 no. That beating is necessary because the children of nowadays they have big mouth. I see a small boy in the shop yelling at his mother. In my days, I couldn't even look at my mother angry. She
Mhm.
will give you a punch, you will not sleep for 3 days. But yeah, you have to, yeah, pray to Elohim, do your best, and keep the beating alive. Well, it's not easy.
Physical beating.
For beating alive, please, before remember that. Nah, yeah, it's hard. It's difficult. I always have these conversations around me, and it's just hard. Some people don't know what to do, and others are like, "Yeah, there's nothing you can do." Make sure that what they learn at home has a strong enough foundation before you send them into the world, because they're going to come across information that is against them, against, maybe they'll learn something at school and then at home it's like, oh, but mom and dad said it's different. Make
Yeah.
sure that that idea is something they can continue to go back to, because if that foundation is lacking, yeah, what the world is going to do with your child, there are many ways they can change your child into something that or someone it was not intended to be. So I
And
do
one thing,
both.
if it is a boy, keep him away from that nonsense music called hip hop. Keep him away because it is messing these kids up, man.
Yeah.
Keep them away from the hip hop stuff. I hope it can help some people that have a son. Keep them away from this kind of stuff because if I have to look for myself, many bad things I discover in school.
Yeah.
When you go to the school parties after school, you are finished with school. Before
Hmm.
you get home, the conversations that you will have, the place that you were going to see, that has a lot of impact on us. And then when you reach a certain age, you want to change your life, you will face so many difficulties, and you would think life would have been different if you didn't even come across that. And that was in my age that
Hmm.
the social media was not big. But now,
Now it is.
man, you have to do extra your best as a parent, as an
Hmm.
uncle, the auntie, not because it is not your child, so you
Yeah.
will let it go. Even if it is your friend's child and you see him outside, talk to him. Maybe he has a difficulty to reach his parents, but you, as the friend of his parents, he can reach to you. So that's why I like it sometimes on the television. They show reclames about huiselijk geweld. Like
Hmm.
I don't know the name in English. If you see something, do
Domestic.
something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Domestic abuse. Yeah.
yeah. We have to reach out, even if it is not your own child, but try. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I see everyone thinking, Apoka, you were fired up. You were like, no, no, no,
Like I
this
said
is
at the beginning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I understand everyone's sentiment, because it's getting crazier in this world, and the way people think and the ideas that they walk around with is just bizarre nowadays. And I just hope that we, as believers, know what we can do, stay strong in times like these. So, if are there any last nuggets for the people at home that you would like to share?
Yes, yes, yes. Just one more thing. I was also, as you guys were sharing your nuggets, I was also thinking about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. And one of the things that I can just share about is that we have to try as much as possible to make sure that our children, the younger generation, they really get that growth mindset, and everything that has been introduced to them by teachers or other educational systems, that they try to compare and contrast, do research,
Mm-hmm.
like be open-minded, ask questions, because that is also what has been taken away from us. Like we're not promoted to ask questions. Everything that we receive, we have to listen. So this is what I can say, that it will really help, so that your child will not be fixed and
Yeah.
shaped and made as robots to move to the left or right whenever somebody above is telling you to do so.
Mm-hmm.
That can help. It is not the solution,
Yeah.
but if you can take that along as well, then
Yeah.
it's one of the good steps.
Exactly. Some of the steps you can take. And Apoka, you have some last nuggets?
Yeah. Next to keeping the beating alive, talk, talk.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Really want
Communication.
to
Let us communicate better than our parents did. Our parents did their best, what they could do based on their way of growing up. But we grew up here. Let us communicate better with our children, nephews, and cousins. Let us grow in that. I hope one day they can also pass it to their children.
hear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice ones. And my own nugget would be try to have a great foundation or a good foundation from home. You know, outside the teachers and stuff are also role models. So also check who your child likes or not likes, and what the person learns from that. Me being a teacher myself, I'm fully aware that I cannot influence these children or change them. Like change is really up to a person's self. But I do notice that they really take a lot of information from teachers. So if there's one teacher that's willing to believe in them, to help them, to motivate them, they tend to remember those people for a long time. So yeah, I'm just doing my best, like in my own profession itself. But what I really would want to say is that from home, the foundation from home is what is most important. So make sure that do your best to keep that in order. So, thank you, guys. Let me check the comment section. No, no, no. I see no comments further. So, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, APC. It was very insightful, and I hope that those at home have learned a lot. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. sharp, we're continuing with part three of Powers of the West, and then we'll dive into education. So, let's see what the minister then has to say. So, this was it. Long 3 weeks, a lot of information, but I really hope that it has reached the right people. So once again, thank you, and see you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.